Hi, I'm having a little bit of a bad day today, so I decided to make a video instead of just sitting about and doing nothing. And by making these videos, I really want to help support people, give a message of hope, and not to be just, all doom and gloom all the time. But you do have bad days, and I think it's important to talk about those bad days as well. I was out a couple of nights ago for a friend's birthday. We were in a club out in Edinburgh, and I was shocked and appalled at what I saw. There was a girl who was passed out on one of the couches in the club. There was members of staff just completely walking past her, completely ignoring her. I witnessed probably about 3 or 4 guys going over to her, eyeing her up, and nobody was doing anything about it. So I decided to go over to a bouncer and say, look, are you going to do something about this? Because she could be in a lot of danger. The bouncer then told me that he could not leave the door, but he would try and get somebody else to go over and to see to her. Eventually, somebody did go over and they did help her up. And when she stood up, she could barely even walk. It turns out that her friends had just left her there. Now, it shouldn't have taken me to get up and to alert somebody about that. Like I said, there have been people walking past her previously, and they just didn't do anything about it. It was really disturbing, and to think that I might have, if I hadn't had intervened, anybody could have just come along and dragged her out of that place and nobody would even have noticed. So this got me thinking again about going round places and speaking to staff. It's important to find out what people would do in that situation, because it's clear that in that situation nobody was doing anything about it. So I want to go a lot sooner than I had previously said that I was going to go with my group. I don't know exactly what we're going to do, if we're going to do a kind of like a survey. I know that the online survey was really effective, but it's so important. It's really highlighted that issue even more for me. I know there's some very good staff in certain clubs out there. A couple of places I've been to in Edinburgh, and if something happens, they've got staff over right away. I'm not saying here that everywhere is the same, but that's why I think it's important to go around and start talking to people about it. Another thing I've been thinking about is educating people at an early age. When I was in primary 7, I had somebody write a note to me in class saying, "I'm going to rape you." And when I went to the head teacher about that, I wasn't taken seriously because, doesn't know what he's talking about, because of the age that we were. And that got me thinking, where did such a young person get that from? What made them say that? So that for me highlights the fact that we need to be targeting people at an early age. I've been involved in other groups and other fundraising projects and other voluntary work, and what I've always said is that this early intervention is what is so important. When I was in high school, I suffered from anxiety and panic attacks, and I had a really, really bad time of it. And again, instead of just feeling sorry for myself and being alone and everything, I decided to stand up and do something about it, because I knew I wasn't the only person who was suffering from it, and I was discriminated against. There is a lot of stigma attached to these issues, and like I said, I set up a group to help young people, to help people who are finding things difficult to get some support. And the first thing I said was, you have to people start feeling anxious, people start experiencing problems, if you don't do anything about it at the time, in years to come, it's going to get much worse. So like I said, it's extremely important, and I think that's another thing that we have to think about. And I would love for this play to eventually be shown around schools to educate people. Theatre is an extremely powerful thing to get people thinking and to educate people about these issues. And people start picking things up at a very young age. And the world that we're living in right now, the world that is condoning rape, that is believing these rape myths, that's making jokes about these serious issues, this is the kind of world that these young people are growing up into. So if we don't educate them now, things aren't going to change. I am very aware that my voice is shaking a little bit today making this video. Like I said, I'm not having a good day. Some days, not every day is full of hope, is full of determination, but I'm still making this video, and hopefully again somebody will watch this and get some comfort into it or be able to relate to it. And another thing that really annoyed me when I was out for my friend's birthday was we had a couple of guys coming up to some of us, and it's people just not taking no for an answer. If you turn around and you tell somebody to leave you alone, you do not want them there. You don't appreciate the things that they're saying to you. When you tell them to leave you alone, they should leave you alone. And again, this is the kind of thing that, where do these attitudes come from? Why do people think that they have the right to, I don't know, I'm completely lost for words. And it's people getting angry when they don't get the reaction that they wanted from you. I've had people come over and ask me to dance, and I've said no, and they've gotten so angry. I mean, again, why do people think this is okay? This is where these attitudes, this is where they come from. This is where they start. I'm not going to spend much longer talking today. I'm trying to avoid sounding really down and being really negative about everything, although sometimes you do feel negative, and I also think that it's important to express that as well. Like I said in previous videos, when you experience things like this all the time, although maybe it's not all the time, but it feels like it's all the time, it's really, really hard not to generalise, not to think that everybody out there is the same, and that's how I'm feeling right now, although I know that that is not the case. I find it extremely difficult to trust anybody. And on days like this, you know, it's upsetting, it's difficult to try and keep reminding yourself that there are good people out there, and I really want to remind people of that, although you might not believe it. I don't necessarily believe it right now. And I found myself getting really, really upset thinking about how simple things have been previously. You know, when you're young and you first get a boyfriend, or how simple, it's not always simple for everybody, but in my own experience, and I've been finding that really difficult. And I know I've said in my videos before, in my previous videos, that it's okay to be single and it's okay to be on your own. It's been really important for me. It's given me this independence, like I said, this empowerment, and I've been finding it really difficult. I don't know if other people are the same. Just even thinking about good memories, about good relationships, sometimes I find that even more difficult to talk about. again, because once you've experienced something like this, and you seem to come across people who have these bad attitudes. Like, for example, when I went out and have to remind myself that that was just one situation, that's just one place. But for me, it felt like just looking around, thinking, oh my god, is there nobody out there who is good, who is nice? And again, I know that there's people out there that are good and nice and kind, but sometimes if you're feeling really alone and you're feeling, all you can think about is these negative experiences, and there's no one around there to remind you, and it's just, I just miss feeling safe. I don't feel very safe anymore. Miss that feeling of being safe with somebody, you know. But I'm not going to say anymore. I apologise if this video has been really down and really negative. But again, I'm sure there's people out there who are feeling like this as well. And I just want to say that, yeah, this is a bad day, but there'll be good days as well.